early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Let's go over to the art world and the associate industries. The problem of counterfeiting is a huge one when it comes to creative industry. Have you ever been to an art gallery and perhaps it's been this art piece you've always admired from afar, and then you get to a gallery, you find it, oh, I'd like to get this, thinking perhaps it's the original, but little do you know that that is indeed a fake. Now, there are certain art pieces that you know that you cannot even get the original of that in just any gallery. For instance, the Mona Lisa piece, yeah, if you find that, you know that the one you've gotten, it may just be something else. But there are others that you cannot distinctly say this is a copy or this is counterfeit. That problem also permits to the fashion industry. Yes, you find certain designs that look like the original, but sometimes they are not the original. So I've got players in the industry to talk about this challenge. How challenging is it for them as creatives, and what can be done to take this away from their path? Yes, because that means less money for them. You put in money, someone else is reaping the reward. So that's with me here to my immediate right. First of all, I've got Chamberlain Ukenedo, who is an artist.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to host you here. I'm just hoping that at the end of the show you do a painting of me. And I also have Agboola Odunfa, who is a designer and is the CEO of AOFRIQ Clothing.
Thank you for having
What you're wearing now, I'm going to say that if one wants to fake it, it may not be so hard, but I'm sure there are things that you have put in line to ensure that there's a distinction between the original design of yours and the counterfeit, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, we'll come to that much later, but let's get into the art world first. So, looking at the art industry, it's something that is not easy to become obvious in that industry, because your work, first of all, needs to get the recognition, and over time, you just are able to attract people to you. Now, some artists like you have their own galleries, some also do exhibitions and all, and you reproduce some of your work. When it comes to the issue of counterfeiting, how big is this challenge, and in what shape and form does it come?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I think calling it fake makes it sound like currency and all that, which it is because it's a value for exchange. What is important is the fact that plagiarism is not what the industry actually wants currently. A lot of artists kind of don't want to detail themselves into being original. So what they do is they duplicate what is from the original. And why I say plagiarism is that you don't give credit to the original artist. And in the industry where we play and how the galleries also play around this is cost and value. And I'll give an example. But permit me, I will not mention any gallery at this point. So what's in the early 2000. So some gallery owners come to your exhibition and they view a particular work that they feel interesting and they feel has a lot of value. So what they do is they get a ghost artist. So a ghost artist stays in the background and look at how they can replicate this person's work because of the value that comes with this work. So what the ghost artist is looking at is the technique, which is very, very important. So the technique is the signature of that artist. So that signature is what people are looking out for because that's the identity that the artist has brought to the industry, because that is what singles you out and that is what makes the work unique. So the artist goes in the background, replicate this work, and the gallery owner now go and begin to make sales outside what the original person is supposed to earn, and which is very strange.
All right, so you had mentioned the fact that you didn't want to call it fake, like it felt like it's
Currency,
some
some
currency.
cafes.
But then take, for example, some of the art pieces that we see on the roadsides and the highways, which are like replicas, of certain artworks done by the originals. You had mentioned the Lisa, and then you go to quote, a big man's house, and you also see a Mona Lisa painting. How do you even identify? You had talked about brushstrokes. For someone who is a novice, who is nouveau to the, art pieces and collections, not necessarily a collector, how do you know which is an original? How do you identify, some of these artworks?
Okay, there's a thin line. First of all, everybody cannot own a Mona Lisa, and because of the value that's also placed on it, everybody cannot own Ben who's a visit to Umahia and another of Sosi's strong places. So if I walk into a space, I'll be able to identify, maybe because I'm an artist, then again is original is the fact that the piece of material you're looking at has been created over a period of time. There's age that comes with the work. So it is with that age that you'll be able to tell that this work is not even fresh. Then the way these bling blings are checked and all those things. Some people are from like us, I mean, we're gifted to identify an Oshinowo from somebody who is trying to fake it. And you also fake what is in trend. You don't fake what is not in the eyes of people. Then I have to backtrack again when people are talking about replication. The guys who do hyper realism also depend on photography for them to create. So because they're depending on photography doesn't mean that they are not original. So if I walk into a space now and I see a work that is not original, I'll be able to tell by its age. Then I'll also be able to tell by the life of the brushstrokes that is there. Because if you have a print, just like a lot of Mona Lisas are printed around the globe, or you have an artist who has also been able to recreate that particular artwork, what is very, very important is that every stroke that has been done on a particular job is not the same as the one that has been done on the previous one. So the fact that it is original and the fact that this other person has done the fake, if you look deep, the strokes cannot fit into the same line. You understand? It's like you're making a signature. Your signature starts from the beginning and fades at detail. I bet you all the signatures you've signed in your lifetime are all not the same.
All right, so let's go to
Clothing.
Agboola now, who is in the clothing industry. For your sector, I imagine it's a more complex problem because fashion is something that trends. And so when one design comes out, everybody, almost everybody, wants to wear the particular design. How do you tell if it's a fake? And for you, the producer, how do you go about things like that to ensure that, or when people see my design, if I created a design, it's obvious to tell this is original to me. Some people even argue amongst designers that you can't actually claim originality because style fashion is something that can be copied. You could make a design in a particular color. I can choose to be making mine and maybe add some blend. I've seen disputes where one designer came to say, oh, this trending design, I was the originator of that design. How complex is it for your own sector? How do you handle?
Um, thank you. See, opening of design is not something you actually stop or come. But identifying your own design is easy. People, fashion designers are just lazy, Yes, of course, once design comes out and then there is a rush, that designer cannot meet the demand. What you are supposed to do is to recreate and inject your own ideas into it. You know, all designs are created by one person. So it is the recreation that gives you an identity. So but when you now go ahead to copy somebody's design, just the way it is done, it is laziness and it is painful. But for my design, I can actually tell this is my design. For instance, I have walked into spaces that I've seen people wear, my design. At the point, it has happened to me like 3 or 4 times. At the point, I will feel, now this person must have bought these pants from somebody that have copied my design, or he copied my design. I've walked up to them and asked, where did you get this pant from? And, lo and behold, they are from me. These are my design. And I have some loyal customers that whenever they see my design, they know this is AOFRIQ. So I've been able to distinguish my every pieces because I ensure that I supervise the fabric procurement and then the sewing, like quality control. So I can know my design.
So it's more like a bespoke kind of setting.
Yes.
Okay, so now, but then do you feel that sellers, or okay, let me start off with if you have a middleman, like someone who is like a distributor for you, or do you have your customers all come directly to you? Like a yes or no?
Yes, my customers come to me directly, but we also have some outlets that we take product to
Now,
for them to resell.
here's the question. Now, do you expect a middle person to be obligated to tell the customer that this is a counterfeit or is a replica? This is not original. You have a design, and the person probably wants a particular brand. Do you expect sellers generally to tell the end user or the customer that this particular design you're looking for is not the original, it's just a replica?
Doing business comes with honesty if you want to go far.
Okay.
And then if you want to earn more, it's better to tell the customer the truth. There's no big deal in telling the customer that, okay, if you want the original, you get it from here and you get it at this amount. If you want what you're looking for, which is not original or which is a different design, this is the price. But you don't expect every middleman to act the same. People also come to our store or our spaces. Oh, what you're selling at so amount, we can get it for half the price. So then we'll have to, it is our duty to explain to them, this is what and what we put together to create this.
All right. For artists who do artworks, now there are people who are collectors and they pay a lot of money for certain art pieces. What do you, as the artist, do to ensure that those who seek to have your work have the original at exhibitions, at different galleries that you circulate your work to? Now, TC talked about middlemen. The middlemen that you deal with, do you go out to let your fans, your customers know that, oh, this is how you can differentiate a piece done by you, for instance, or these are the places where you can get original piece from you? Because even the customer also suffers it. You pay some money thinking you're getting the original work, only for you to find out or never even find out that it's a copy, it's a duplicate.
Okay. Maybe the ecosystem of the fashion person and the visual artist are a bit different. There are times when you have to interact one-on-one with your collectors. So what they do is that they do studio visits. They come to your studio and they see you create. So if you have what is called a body of work, so something that you want to push out in the market, or you want to exhibit at a certain time. So to some artists, they keep it like a secret. So they until they come up with a whole length of, because it shows your progression over a period of time. So when they come to your studio and they visit and they see what you've been doing, first of all, they earn that confidence that it was originally created by you. Then you can now have the ones you have in galleries. Like he said earlier, you have to do your business based on trust. So the galleries are our outlets where we have to display our works. Then other angles are when you have contracts that you do. But the funny side is people can still go to your social media page and kind of download and your work. So we are kind of being careful if you're producing a fresh work or fresh technique, something that you want to dazzle the market with, and you have to be careful how you throw things out there, because some creators are not seriously looking at reinventing themselves, so they are just looking and waiting for you to throw something out there. So like I said, the ecosystem is not the same, so we deal directly with our collectors and the galleries based on trust.
You've talked about download, but if you've also noticed that artworks are now being sold along the road, particularly for some areas where they experience traffic jam, do you have concern about those? They are not designers, so they're not artists. They just are in the business of reproducing some of those artworks, however they come by them. Do you have concerns about them? Does that, up to you, do you consider that a counterfeiting, or you just feel let them do their own work? Those who want to have the rhythm will come to me, because it seems you just described high-end customers. But for those who still appreciate it, but are willing to pay anything little that the person who's selling at the roadside is willing to offer, do you see that as a challenge?
Yes, and I'm going to blame the role of artificial intelligence in image generation. And some of the things you see there, you may not actually see the original artist. I mean, a typical Nigerian artist work there. Some of the things you're seeing there could be stuff they got from the internet. And internet, you can't tell. And once you're uploading your stuff on the internet, you have submitted yourself to anybody's use. So they can go to your social media page and get the download and reproduce. And they have to also work with a good resolution. The guy who is buying it is not buying it because he's an art enthusiast. Maybe he likes the work because he's connecting or blending to his interior in his house. Oh, this work is beautiful. I think it works with my curtain. Not because he has a connect to art. And the more reason why the person is selling it at that amount, oh, 5,000, 7,000 on traffic. And at the end of the day, if I'm driving past and I see my work, which I have some time back, I kind of felt a bit semi okay, because I was like, okay, if this person is going all out to duplicate my work and sell out there, it pushed me to go beyond that work that I am seeing there, because I create every day and I don't store my ideas. It's like the book. If you don't give it channel for the ideas to pass, it will be stagnant. So I continue to recreate and reproduce, but very few artists are like that. Some attach so much sentiment on their work. Some will stop and they will either question or arrest a person who is also displaying their work without consent or permission.
Chamberlain, let me also, weigh in on the issue of sales and the method of sales. So you've talked about roadside, online. It's also a way where people purchase, and an age where we now had the NFT. I think
NFTs.
NFTs.
Yeah.
It's not so popular anymore, because at the time when it was launched, everybody lodged into the idea of taking your own photograph, creating your own art, and having your own NFT, because it came with a huge amount. And I wonder if online sales of art helps to encourage or give people, people now have access to more fakes, in quotes, or replicas, as a result of online sales and all of that.
Okay, thank you. NFT comes with heavy legal support through the blockchain.
Okay.
So the blockchain is that you own the original work. So with the original work, you have given permission and license for other people to reproduce. And upon that, producing or duplicating your work, you still get a remit back. So if they're producing for, say, 10 naira, on that 10 naira, you could be getting 5 naira back and still keep your original. Unlike the guy who goes and just take your original, duplicate and begin, because you saw him in K2 traffic, he may be in the Ikeja GRA traffic, and that guy will be in Surulere traffic, and you see your work all spread there because you don't have access to getting a return, unlike what the NFT does.
Okay.
So the NFT has given you a strong blockchain in which you have e-currency backing you up. So your contact is beyond your local space. Your contact is across the globe. So someone can be in Tokyo minting your NFT. Someone can be in New York minting your NFT at the same time. And as they are minting, you still have your original, and you're still also having your royalties coming back to you, which makes it a different
Nice.
ball game.
All right, so Agboola, looking at the clothing industry, one way by which people could tell if a clothing item is fake or not was the label, the tag on it. But these days, there are also fake tags. You could have the designers, design labels from countries that people admire so much. I don't want to mention the name of anyone. These days, you go to the market and you find the labels already there. So you, even the small fashion designer in the market can just reproduce their designs and tag them and sell them. It's for only the customers who have maybe felt the texture of their material and know how the design comes and can tell, oh, this is a reproduction, this is fake, and that is it. But do you also think that the customers have a role to play in this? Because when some names have gotten very big, a lot of people want to identify with them, even though they know they're wearing the fake. Is that a problem for original designers, particularly those who are startup?
All this production, all this product comes with prices. Now, for those that are fans of a particular brand, they know the quality, they know the stitch, and they know the combination. So, for those that cannot afford, or maybe those that are just trickish, going out there to buy something that they know is not the original, it's not something we can control, or it's not something the designers, the original designers can control. You understand? They go out there to buy what they know that it is fake. But what should be done largely is to control the price. Once the price of your product is fair enough, of course they'll come to you.
Okay. A bit of a follow up on that question is ownership. She talked about tags, and you realize that they have ready made tags now. You just go and you buy. And then some persons are unwilling to put their name to their own designs. They're unwilling to own up. Let's say TC Fashion House, TC Bara Fashion House, and I have my own design. I rather will go get a blessing tag and put on it. And in that case, whatever sense of value should have been attached to my brand, which eventually may turn out a success in the market, and people start. Remember, whoever must have designed the tennis shoes would have maybe was not so proud of it, and they gave it an Italiana name or whatever name. And at some point, that Kenu mouth shoes became a huge hit back then. And the person probably would have thought, oh, why didn't I put Chineke and Sons or Abu and Daughters? The issue of ownership, is something the fashion industry has not really embraced. And what do you think is the cause of this? And what do you think can be done to encourage people to own up to their brand, or take ownership of their brand and ideas?
Well, in the climate which we operate, not that these laws are not there, not that this tradition is not there, but how supportive is the law, or the enforcers of the law, protecting the real owners of this design. Like now, what is being put in place, in the Western world is that if you wear anything that is fake, there is a way it is being detected at the port of entry. You can even get arrested. But here you cannot do that. In fact, almost 80% of people buying fake knows that what I'm buying is fake. So they are just not being fair to themselves. Like 6 yards of a good Ankara now in the markets between 10 and 12,000 or 15,000. The fake one is like 1,500 for 6 years, or 2,000 naira for 6 years. And mere looking at it, for us that are designers, mere looking at it, you will know that this is fake. No, I don't even need to touch it. So for buyers, they know because they're going to touch it before buying. And some are victims. Some people copy designs and then post it online for sale. So when a customer order, they now send fake. Now, so when you look at the cost of buying this and the cost of dispatch, to return it or go to the police to say this person has cheated me, it's going to cost you double of that. So how many people will have that energy or that courage or that strength to do, or the time to do all that? It is expensive and tedious to protect brands here in Nigeria or in Africa, so to speak.
So, what are some of the issues that makes it very expensive to protect brands? You talked about someone making an order online and getting a fake item. It seems like the online or e-commerce has opened more doors for those who trade in counterfeit products.
Yes, and it has also encouraged those doing original. You understand? So, getting the protection for the brand and the customer is what we need to also beg the government to do. No, for me, few times I have been, most of the time I've been very, very lucky. So customers check our page or check our website and then see product. And I don't even enforce that you must pay before we ship to you. But once we tell them the price, they just send me your account. Some people are like that. They are open. They are willing to give you that trial, even not knowing your product by word of mouth or by you advertising to them. Maybe they are just surfing the net and then they come across your product and then say, okay, we want this, and then they ask for the price. There are general shoppers like that. They ask for the price, they pay you, and then you deliver to them. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of victims out there that have been scammed. They see, even mere looking at them online, you see this is original. And when they get this product, it's entirely, a complete opposite of it. So
What
these
other
people need
adversaries? What
my God.
these people need protection. Even the brand as well needs protection. This is where the government needs to come in.
The good thing is that you got more than what you ordered, because the conversation off air has been about how sometimes what you ordered and when you get it eventually becomes finer and even better than what you actually ordered. Is that experience for you? Well, you can share on the show today on our Facebook, Instagram, and of course, leave a comment on our YouTube channel. But before we wrap up the show, I still have the two gentlemen in the studio, Chamberlain Ukenedo, who is an artist, and I've got Agboola Odunfa, who is the CEO of AOFRIQ Clothing line. Now, we've been talking about the issue of counterfeiting, specifically looking at the art market and the fashion industry. So let's get back now to the art world. So, for you, the artist, it's like a financial loss when you find your work being recreated or being duplicated without your consent. But let's look at some of the issues that could result to this counterfeiting. Could it be that there's a larger market for you to satisfy, but you cannot satisfy because there's a limit to what you can produce, and some other persons are doing this without your knowledge? What are the consequences on the art industry? We know that for art, there are a lot of cultural works that have been done. There are lots of works that, if you compromise the integrity of the work, it sort of distorts maybe the message or even the reputation of the artist. So what can artists do, maybe not individually, but collaboratively do to ensure that whatever piece you create, as much as you can, you reduce the level of fakes of it or duplicate, as you say?
Okay, thank you. I think first of all is that perception that art is expensive, and whenever you see
But I like to ask, is it not?
art is
Is art not
actually
expensive?
is a value you put on it. That's if it's. I mean, to me, I keep saying nothing is expensive. You're just broke. So
It's like a shade history on the show today.
so if you come with the perception that art is expensive, it continues to be expensive to you. And when we were offline, I was mentioning about the Chinese and the currency and all that. But I mean, the way they have actually also made things look, you have a certain level of supply to every need. So for an artist, if I know that my work looks expensive, according to how I explained earlier, so artists create prints. So you can have a print of my work if you want a piece of me. If the galleries or the so-called guys I've mentioned cannot get an artist to, like a ghost artist, to replicate your work, you can actually get people print on canvas these days. You can get prints and you have a limited print. You can say 1 of 10, 1 of 20. So you also tag them, that I'm only releasing 20 pieces of this original. So it's like the traditional NFT kind of flow.
But this time around physical.
This time physical. So I can say, okay, because people think, oh, I'm a Benewo, oh, I'm a Anoshinowo, you understand? And they say, I can't afford this guy's work. But I can also liaise with some of the galleries and I say, okay, I have 10 of these original prints. So even you getting one of those prints also feel comfortable that I'm getting a second original kind of thing. I mean, I'm getting it directly and I can duly sign on it direct, which is also strong that I got it straight from the artist himself. So that works fine for me having to look at an easier way for my consumers to get access to my work and not have that perception that is too expensive. So if you say art is expensive,
Please don't say this, you're broke again.
Quote a figure. Because you know you had talked about the roadside having 5,000, 6,000, you put it in the range. So give us a range. Ben
One's work.
Sure.
I don't know how much they are worth now, but you can be getting some cool artworks. And people buy artworks like they buy stocks these days. So you can get some cool paintings from 20 million.
No comments.
And you can resell.
So it's an investment.
It's an investment.
Okay.
You understand?
What?
Naira.
If you get the original piece.
If you get an original piece.
Okay.
But even more than that, I've seen an exhibition where somebody just nailed a banana piece on the wall or pasted a banana piece on the wall, and I mean it went for high value payment. So
it could be the value the customer also places or the value.
Yeah, the value of the artist
and the story you create.
Yes,
around it.
is the value of the artist sometimes. Sometimes you look at an artist and you're like, this is like baby painting. I mean, my child can do this. Oh, that's scribbles. But you see, over a period of time, that artist had grown to understand the value that he has put on himself. So you can now see somebody, oh, okay, I'm a pop artist. I've done so much. And I can just say, go, 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 go. And everybody's buying it because I'm the one who said it. If any other person would have said that, it may not have made sense. But because of the value I have put on my work, and I put a certain comedian in a certain position, and it's coming from a notable known artist, then people begin to connect to it. But if you get an average artist along the road who come and create something, nobody will listen to you because you have not added value to yourself. What you've been doing on the roadside is somebody brings a job to you and you just have to just reproduce for the person and the person moves. And I bet you some school of thought believes that every art is original because there's a thinking behind it. Whether it's for fake or for original purpose, there's still a thinking behind it.
Okay, to Odunfa, basically clothes. You realize that some persons may just want to order what they've seen, and then there's sometimes they say that the commercial quantity or large quantity reduce the value of the quality of the clothes. Like if you're doing a bespoke pants, I know this is one of one. Not one of 1 million, right?
Or even 10 million.
Yes, I'm just the one person who has this footwear. It was done for me, it was bespoke. So do you have does it reduce the value that you mass produce a particular design? That's one. And then are you also able to meet a demand without reducing the quality of what you're giving us, say you're doing in large quantity?
Okay. Now, yes, you're right. In everything, if you mass produce, it reduces the selling value because production cost reduces. But for AOFRIQ, what we do is that don't do more than 3 of a particular design.
3 of
in a
3.
pattern.
We're speaking generally beyond you.
So to curb that, once you produce, you don't produce too much. But it also helps you in tracking the product. So once you mass produce, of course, it reduces the selling value. It reaches more people, makes people afford it more. So if you reduce the quantity you produce, it gives the value, it gives more value to people that loves that particular brand. And the selling price is is determined by those that loves or appreciates that particular product.
All right. So if I get you correctly, it depends on those who want the product.
Yes.
But it could also go both ways. When you mass produce, it reaches lots
A
of
lot of
people.
people, and you sell at lesser price.
Okay. But would you be willing to make a design for just a customer? Is that business? Does it make business sense? If one customer, for instance, TC says, do this pants for me, or do this shirt for me.
TC wants a pant.
Do this shirt for me, and I want it exclusive. Does it make business sense?
It makes a lot of business sense.
So that means it pays what you could get, what you would have sold, and saved you the time and energy of all of that.
Customers come to us and say, okay, this particular product, which you produced 5 years ago, I want it recreated in exact fabric or in this kind of fabric. Then it shows that that customer is willing to pay any amount for that product.
All right. Thank you so much, Agboola Odunfa, who is the CEO and founder of AOFRIQ Clothing, talking to us about some of the challenges in the fashion industry when it comes to dealing with counterfeiting and fakes. Yes, and we've also had Chamberlain Ukenedo, who is an artist. Yeah, when your own painting is done, I doubt that people can just have fakes or counterfeit of it. And even if you see it elsewhere, you may not really mind. It means that you're becoming very much popular. But thankfully, I have 4 artists. 1 you can see. 3 others are behind the camera. They were doing paintings of me. Do I mind if I find it somewhere else? I'll tell you about that on Monday. That is to say, we've come to the end of Early Exchange for the week. We thank you so much for being a part of it by watching. The conversation, as you know, expands beyond the show, so you can drop a comment on our Facebook, Instagram, and X page. So you just go there at Soap News TV on YouTube as well. You can watch the show if you missed any part of it, and just leave a comment at Soap News TV. Earlier, we had Femi Ayodele as one of our anchors on the show. I had to excuse him and say, hey, I need to talk with these 2 men. We're talking business here. I mean, I have 1 artist. I have 3 others. They will do paintings of me. Come on, Femi, you have to leave here. But TC Barra, I had to manage, even though it's not exactly what I ordered.
You know that trend. Like
I will see you next to TC.
You know that trend.
I don't know anything at this point in time. We'll do that later. Can't count here. But I'm not running.
Okay. I'll chase you. Anyway, it's been great being here. And of course, it's Friday. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. It feels like it just rocks through. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a good weekend. I'm looking forward to being with you next week. And I'm hoping that, Flesh and Blood did not reveal that I want a pant. And I get one from, Dufa.
They say man talk to man understand. When I would understand, I don't know. All right. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. See you Monday.
Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.